Hey guys, in this video we're going to be covering 2A.4, and our master learning objective is being able to identify when the graph of a parabola is increasing or decreasing. First step is, we need to identify that vertex. So where is that lowest or highest point? In our parabola right here in example 1, we do have a minimum, right? This is opening upward, so therefore that is going to be a minimum. And that vertex point is at 3, -4. You could also kind of put minimum just in case you like to kind of review that stuff. So that is our vertex point right there. Now we need to draw a vertical line through that vertex. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a vertical line through my vertex. Then my next step says go from the left side to the vertex. Is the graph going up or down? So what I'm talking about is the left side of the vertex. So if this is my vertex, everything to the left of it is this axis right here, just up until I get to that vertex point. So what is my function doing on this? These values for x. And remember that all the way to the left here is negative infinity. So from negative infinity until that x value of a 3, what is my function doing? Well, my function is starting up here, and I am working downward until I get to that vertex point. So from the left side to the vertex, is the graph going up or down? It is going down, right? And you can write down, or you can just circle it. From the vertex to the right side, so now I'm going to look at the right side. From the vertex to the right side. So now I'm looking at these x values moving all the way over here, which is to positive infinity. And what is our function doing? Well, from that vertex point, my function is increasing upward. Going up. So from the vertex to the right side, the graph is going up. You could write it as well, or just circle it. And now it tells us to identify where the graph is increasing. Increasing just means where is the graph going up? Well, we said that the graph is going up right here, right? Our function's increasing. And I have to use the x values. The x values is how I write my increasing interval. So from x equals 3 all the way to positive values for x is where my graph is going upward. Identify where the graph is decreasing. So this is where our function is going down. And again, we only use those x values because all of these x values was where our graph was going from positive, and now I'm moving down negative until I get to that x value of 3. So read it like a book. From negative values of x up until we get to that x value of a 3, my graph is decreasing, right? This means it's where it's going down. All right, let's keep practicing this. It says identify the vertex in example 2. So I need to find that either max or min point. I see right here I do have a max, right? And that point is at 4, 4. One thing, too, that you can remember is that when we are dealing with increasing and decreasing, that x value in our vertex is the value that we only use for increasing and decreasing. So in this case, for example 2, unfortunately it's the same number, but the x value of our vertex is what we're going to be using for our intervals for increasing and decreasing. All right, let's move on. It says draw a vertical line through the vertex. All right, so I found my vertex. I'm going to just draw a dashed line. Helps me separate the left and the right side. From the left side to the vertex, is the graph going up or down? Well, from left to right, so I'm all the way out here at negative infinity. And as I move to the right, just at my vertex point, my function was somewhere down here, and it's making its way up. Alright, so from the left to the vertex, the graph is going up. Right, we can also write that. I don't have much room there. From the vertex, so I'm starting at that x equals 4, to the graph, to the right side, what is my function doing? Well, from my vertex here, as I follow my function, that is going down. So all these values of x are going to positive infinity. So from the vertex to the right side of the graph, our graph is going down. Right now, we have to identify where the graph is increasing. So where was the graph going up? We just said that the graph was going up right here. And I have to use those x values. So read it like a book. Left side all the way over here at negative infinity. Until we get to that x value of our vertex, which is right here at 4. Our graph is increasing. It is going up. Identify where the graph is decreasing. So this is where is it going down. Going down from our vertex all the way to positive values of x. So same vertex point, but now I'm going all the way to positive values for x. So remember, something you can kind of write here at the side. Reread from left to right. Right, so always start at the left side of the graph and work your way to the right, and then you can identify where it's increasing and decreasing. All right, next example here. I'm going to try to incorporate everything that we've talked about. So x-intercept, vertex, domain, range, increasing and decreasing. So the first thing is our x-intercepts. X-intercept is wherever I cross the x-axis, and I have a value right here and right here. And that's going to be at x equals -2. And x equals, what is that, +4. Our vertex point. This right here is our minimum. So that minimum value is going to be at 1, -9. Now our domain is going to be all positive. How far left, how far right do we go? Well, how far left we go, our function, all these values, right, is going to -infinity. All these values going to positive infinity. And because my function keeps going, I know that my domain is always going to be all real numbers. -infinity all the way to positive infinity. Right? That's how far left, how far right. The range, how far down and how far up does our graph go? Well, if I see my vertex is right here, I know my graph is not going any lower than that blue dotted line I just drew. And that y value is 9, right? -9. So from -9, does my graph go up or does it go down? Well, it's opening upward. So therefore, positive values for y are up there in positive infinity. So our range is going to be from -9 all the way to positive infinity for y. Increasing. We have to think about where we are going up and down from. So if I look at I'm going to read my function from left to right. So starting on the left side, my graph here is starting up here, and it's making its way down until I get to that vertex point. So I am decreasing on all these x values up until where I have that vertex point. So that's actually going to be for decreasing, wherever it's going down. And it is going down from -infinity until that x value from our vertex, which is 1. Increasing, where does my function go up? Well, from that vertex point, we change directions, and now I'm actually increasing. I'm going upward, which means those x values is where I am going to be increasing. So increasing here from +1 all the way to positive infinity. Some things to kind of note. Our vertex tells us a lot of things. Our x value for our vertex is the same x value we use for increasing and decreasing. Our y value is the same value that we use in our range when we're telling about how far up and how far down, because our vertex is that either highest point or that lowest point. All right, that next example is going to be we have to graph and we have to identify all of these steps as well. So if you don't have your calculator, go ahead and press pause and get your calculator. So we're going to go ahead and plug in that function. So no, we never want to save. Yes, we want to add a graph, and I'm going to type in negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. My x-intercepts, I can easily count them to be at negative 3 and a positive 1. But in case you want to see how to use our calculator here, I'm going to go to Menu, Analyze, Graph, and find those zeros. I want to go just left of it, click Enter. Just right of it, click Enter. And I do also see that that x-intercept is a negative 3, just like I said before. So our x-intercepts, remember that another way to say x-intercepts are just to say zeros. Right, zeros are also how we say x-intercepts. So there is one at negative 3 and at a positive 1. So I'm going to graph those out. Negative 3 and a positive 1. And I just put a little dot there only because for some reason when I make a circle, it disappears. Our vertex. We could probably count that as well, but just to be safe, we want to find that maximum point because that is the highest point on our graph. So I'm going to go to Menu, Analyze Graph. I don't want minimums, it's not the lowest point, it is a maximum, number 3, which is the highest point. And my vertex is somewhere over here. So I just want it to be just left. Press Enter and scroll just right of it. And I can see there my vertex is at a negative 1, 4. So I'm going to write that in. My vertex is negative 1, 4. It was a max. So negative 1, 4 right here. I know my graph is going to be decreasing somewhere like this, opening downward. My domain, how far left, how far right does it go? Well, if this continues on forever and this continues on forever, negative infinity from this vertex point on and this vertex point on to positive infinity. How far left, how far right? Well, from negative infinity to positive infinity. Our range, remember that I'm going to use that y value of my vertex. Right, so I'm going to use that 4 value because this is the highest point my graph is going to go. I am not going to be passing y equals 4. So from 4, my graph is opening downward. So therefore it is going down to negative infinity for y. So from 4 to negative infinity, my graph is going downward. Increasing. I want to look at where my graph is going up. Starting from left to right. If my graph is down here, I see that this is increasing up until I get to that vertex point. So remember, I'm only using those x values for wherever it's increasing. So I will be increasing on the values all the way from negative infinity until I get to that y value of my vertex, which is negative 1. And what is the vertex? What is happening after that vertex? So from negative 1 to positive infinity, what is my function doing? And I see here that my function's all the way up here, and all of a sudden it's going downward for all of these x values from negative 1 to positive infinity. So that is where it's decreasing because my graph is going down. So from negative 1 to positive infinity, my graph is going downward. Again, you see those same things appear where the x value of my vertex is the same value I'm using for increasing and decreasing. Just like when I have a value of 4 for my y in my vertex, that's the same y value I'm using in my range. So if you can make note of that, kind of helps you. I know it's a lot of colors, but colors definitely help when we're trying to figure out increasing and decreasing. All right, go ahead and work on our activity 2A.4. And after this, there's also that AB quiz review, which is also within your activity packet because you will be completing an AB quiz after this section. All right, good luck, guys.